Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's your Stars for Defense, with Ray Block and his orchestra, yours truly, Jay Jackson, and today starring Sally Ann Howes. Stars for Defense is presented every week as a public service in cooperation with the Office of Civil Defense. Today, Stuart L. Pittman, Assistant Secretary of Defense for Civil Defense, is with us to discuss something that many Americans are concerned about: fallout from nuclear testing. We'll hear from Secretary Pittman shortly. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Stars for Defense very proudly presents one of England's loveliest gifts to the Broadway stage, that charming fair lady, Sally Ann Howes.
Isn't it romantic? Music in the night, a dream that can be heard. Isn't it romantic? Moving shadows write the oldest magic word. I hear the breezes playing in the trees above, while all the world is saying you were meant for love. Isn't it romantic? Nearly too young on such a night as this. Isn't it romantic? Every note that's sung is like a lover's kiss. Sweet symbols in the moonlight. Do you mean that I will fall in love perchance? Isn't it romance? Isn't it romantic? Every note that's sung is like a lover's kiss.
Thank you, Sally Ann Howes. Really a top-drawer job, actually. Bit of all right. Splendid, don't you know?
Well, thank you, Jay. Being on Stars for Defense is turning out to be a ball.
I say. Well, you see, I was expecting your reaction to be a bit more reserved. Sun never sets and all that sort of thing.
Jay, I've been in America for a few years now. I'm married to an American.
Well, dash it all, Sally Ann. The mood was so romantic, and now you bring up your husband. Can't we change the subject?
We could talk about my next song from my album of the show Quamina.
A romantic ballad, I trust?
Yes, Jay, and it was written by Richard Adler, my husband.
I get it. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Richard Adler singing Another Time, Another Place.
In outer space.
Thank you, Sally Ann. Time now to meet the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Civil Defense, Stuart L. Pittman. Secretary Pittman, is civil defense concerned with the worldwide fallout that results from nuclear testing?
Well, strictly speaking, the answer is no. The test fallout is watched very closely by our public health authorities. But in civil defense, we're concerned with the concentrated radioactive fallout that would follow a nuclear attack on this country. The difference between test fallout and what you might call a local fallout that follows a nuclear explosion on the ground is very pronounced. The test fallout is the dust which results from a nuclear explosion that goes up into the upper atmosphere. It circles the globe several times generally before finding its way down through the upper atmosphere, and by that time it's lost most of the intense radiation which will kill people through the action of the rays on the human body. It still has in it long-life isotopes, the strontium-90 and cesium that you've heard about. These types of radioactive particles will last a long time, and they get into the soil and can find their way up through crops and into cows and into milk, and this is the problem that has concerned public health authorities. But this is, I would think it's safe to say, a negligible problem when compared to the direct lethal effects of the local fallout which results from a nuclear explosion on the ground. And this is the far greater danger that the Civil Defense Program is designed to protect against. This we call local fallout, and this is a heavy fallout that comes down within a day of a nuclear explosion and spreads itself out downwind from the area of the impact of the explosion. This requires shelters to survive. The test fallout, of course, does not require shelters.
Thank you, Secretary Pittman. And now, Ray Block, while our married guest picks out another romantic song, would you keep the music going?
What's better than Romance by Rubinstein?
Thanks, Ray. Let's get back to Sally Ann Howes. Sally Ann, I'm sure you realize I was only kidding with all that romantic talk.
Of course. You've always known about my husband.
A fine lyricist, a fine composer, and a husky chap. But enough of this drollery. We're ready for another song.
Well, I'd like to sing another of my favorites. You're Nearer.
Time is a healer, but it cannot heal my heart. My mind says I've forgotten you, and then I feel my heart. The miles lie between us, but your fingers touch my own. You're never far away from me, for you're too much my own.
15 minutes you've been listening to Stars for Defense, a transcribed feature presented as a public service by this station every week in cooperation with the Office of Civil Defense. Today our star was Sally Ann Howes, to whom we extend our sincere thanks for a fine performance. Remember, America can withstand enemy attack. Our nation can be so well prepared that nothing could defeat us if we support and cooperate with our local civil defense officials and learn to help ourselves. Be sure to get your copy of the Fallout Protection Booklet, available free through your state and local civil defense offices. Now this is Jay Jackson inviting you to join us next week for some more good music by Ray Block and his orchestra and another famous star on Stars for Defense.